I would like to invite Ambassador Sripriya Ranganathan to talk to us and talk to us about India-US relations. Somebody I think you all know, she's the Charge d'Affaires in the US. And of course, she's somebody who's a career diplomat, but before this assignment, she was in Korea. In fact, my first meeting with her was in Korea when I was actually keynoting an event, and I think she was just an amazing host and somebody I've known personally for many, many years. An amazing professional. If you ever talk to somebody within the services, they will say that he is possibly one of the most amazing professionals and ambassadors that the Indian Foreign Services has seen. But I think without further ado, Dr. Sripriya ji, Ambassador Ranganathan, why don't you join us, please? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amit, for those very kind words. Colleagues from the Government of India, including the member of the Niti Aayog, the member of the ESE, Consul General of India in San Francisco, friends gathered here, good morning, namaskar. It's really a pleasure to be here this morning. The conference agenda looks amazing, and I think the next couple of days are going to see some really interesting conversations and discussions on issues that are relevant to the India-US partnership, and I really look forward to hearing new ideas, new thoughts on what more we can load onto the table on this relationship that we are nurturing. To start the day, I'd like to share with you a little view from my own perch and give you a sense of what all India and the US are doing together. There are some monumental changes that are underway, and I'm really privileged to be part of this story in the thick of things at the embassy in Washington, D.C. I'll not go into history, but I think we can all say with a fair degree of clarity that while certain aspects of the relationship, such as people-to-people exchanges, have always been really robust, the India-US partnership has grown and evolved over time. It has not always been as strong and as rich as it is today. Back in 2016, when Prime Minister Modi had visited, he summarized it aptly when he said that our two countries have now overcome the hesitations of history. This has been a direct consequence of the trust that we have built by spending more time together, by doing more together, by perceiving each other's value. And that is where we are today, when we have reached a stage when we can say that the India-US collaboration delivers good not only for the country, for the people of the two countries, but has been delivering for the global good. I started my innings at the embassy in Washington, D.C. as the Deputy Chief of Mission about 18 months ago. And at that time, I was aware of the broad strokes of the bilateral relationship that we have. But working on the details of this relationship is what has given me a real sense of what we mean for each other. I have been taken aback in a very good sense of the ambition that we have now in this partnership, a partnership which President Biden has described as the most consequential partnership in the world. I think if we were to talk about any area of human activity, I can give you some solid examples of India-US partnership in that space. It's been hard for me to choose, but I have chosen just 5 areas in which I will give you a few examples of what we are doing together: defense, high technology, space, energy, and education. In defense, you would have heard of a big milestone that we achieved back in June last year, when GE and HAL agreed on to move forward with the production of the GE 414 engines in India. The industrial collaboration that we have, defense industrial collaboration that we have put in place, has really taken wings and is now taking off, not only in the space of these giant companies, but also in the space of the startups. And I think that is a very, very exciting aspect of our cooperation now. Over $20 billion of defense trade are already in the pipeline, and it has grown just over the past 15 years or so. Before that, there was virtually nothing in this space. And here I just want to touch on the kind of value that vision and ambition can give. And when I came in here a year and a half ago, in early days, I had a conversation with some friends in the White House. And they said, look, we want to make the GE414 deal the center point of our defense partnership, yes, and also part of the the ISET relationship that we were forging. So I said, do we really want to do that? Don't we want to start with something smaller, more achievable, more, so that we are able to give that push to the initiative? And they said, no, we're going to make this happen. Let's make this happen. And just less than 9 months later, we actually made it happen. So I think if we have that confidence, that courage of conviction, and that is what we have been able to bring to this relationship today. I spoke about ISET, and within that, there are 6 sectors that we have prioritized. And if I just look at the semiconductor as a space, as an area that we have prioritized, and we can see here as well that just in the past year, we have managed to steer forward concrete investments by some of the leading American companies in the area of semiconductors, and who have managed to move from vision to action on the ground. If I take the example of Micron, the kind of pace of gross has been mind-blowing. They have moved from the idea to the stage of groundbreaking on ground in India within just about 8 months, and that's really remarkable progress. Turning to space, CG mentioned about what we have, about an achievement that we are so proud of when we became the first country to touch the south pole of the moon with ISRO's Chandrayaan, which landed in August last year. We are on track to become only the 4th country to send its own astronauts to space on our own launch vehicle through our Gaganyaan mission. This is a sector in which there is tremendous India-US collaboration as well. A case in point here again, the NISAR, which is the world's most advanced radar satellite with a complex payload. Half of that payload has been built in ISRO Ahmedabad by Indian scientists. Half of it has been built in JPL Pasadena by American scientists. The two have been integrated right here in California, have been taken back to ISRO Bangalore for final integration and testing by Indian and American scientists working together. And it will be launched later this year on an Indian launch vehicle from Sriharikota. The satellite will generate valuable data on climate change, on disaster management, and other important needs, and this will be made available to the entire world free of cost. And I think this is a fantastic example of how India and the US, by working together, have been able to create value which is important for humanity as a whole. Looking ahead, we are confident that with India joining the US-led Artemis Accord, which was a decision that we took after a lot of deliberation during Prime Minister's visit last year, we will be able to jointly explore and conquer new frontiers together. Turning to energy, this is a massively expanding area of opportunity for us. The energy trade, which used to be just zero a few years ago, is now over $20 billion. And there is so much of excitement amongst the companies on both sides. First Solar, an American company, has now inaugurated its facility in Chennai. An Indian company, Epsilon Carbon, has opened its presence in North Carolina. And there are many other Indian firms which are investing in the US. So a lot of collaboration between India's green hydrogen mission and the US's hydrogen energy earthshot. Some interesting ideas that we were able to steer forward over the past few months, and again, it's been my privilege to have been part of those conversations. We had this notion that if we have to take this from vision to reality, we have to make the financing available. And that was the thought process with which we began the conversations with the US on creating a green climate fund. And this again was a tremendous trajectory in terms of moving from idea to implementation. And the Green Climate Fund was launched by NIIF of India and the DFC of the US in September last year, with an anchor investment of $1 billion, but we believe that that will be the basis on which another $3 to $4 billion worth of money is made available to companies that are working on climate change mitigation efforts in the two countries and beyond. Similarly, there was a very cogent and a very practical idea that came up where we felt that if we are to transform some of our public transport networks from regular to e-buses, we would need to give some backing to the companies. And with that, the e-bus initiative was born. And that's, again, I would say, a far more modest and a more compact initiative, but something that we have been able to move from idea to practical implementation in a very brief period of time. Education. At the last count, we have over 330,000 Indian students studying in the United States of America. And this has again been a very sharp increase. At the turn of the century, we were just at about 50,000. So you can see the kind of the trajectory on which we are moving. We are hopeful that over the coming weeks, we will be seeing some excellent collaboration between the most elite institutes as well as the next level of educational institutes in India and the US working together to fashion the next level of educational partnership, research collaborations, and academic to industry exchanges. At the heart of all of the relationship that we have formed so far is really the people-to-people ties. And this is an area where I think that there is much that we have done, a lot more that we still need to do. Some positive steps and some areas where more work is required. We have opened our consulate, a new consulate in Seattle just a few months ago, and we are looking forward to a couple more being opened in the next few months. Similarly, we are looking forward to the US deciding on the locations for its own 2 new consulates in India. There are still, as I said, a few challenges. We have a lot of aspirations for visas and work permits. It has grown phenomenally. We have gone up to we gave about 500,000 visas last year, and I think the US gave about 1.2 million visas. But we still have a waiting of about a year or so for Indian visa applications in India. I just want to say, as I close, that while our approaches are not in complete harmony, I think in every relationship there are areas in which we come at things from a different perspective. We come at things from very different priorities. But what has set us apart and what has enabled us to succeed so far is that we are ready to talk to each other. We're ready to discuss with each other. We're ready to be open to the perspectives from the other side. And we are looking at it as mature democracies should, in a spirit of debate, discussion, and understanding. All said and done, that is the hallmark of the conversations that we have had, and this is what we believe will take us to much greater heights in the years to come. With that, I will stop, and thank you very much for your attention, and I wish the India Dialogue all success. Thank you.